Hi guys, Connor from McGrath Kia here.
I was hired to start Ottawa University's esports program and to be their first head coach.
Getting ready to set up a booth for Planet Comic Con. Put together a pristine, top-tier League of Legends team. That was the most incredible series I've ever seen.
And see this whole process.
There's definitely going to be a learning curve to this.
Today marks the first day of the remodel of our brand new esports arena.
A modern digital esports arena.
So students are moving in right now, like as we speak.
My name's Connor Alney, and I guess I'm addicted to TikTok.
So to tell this story fully, I need to kind of go back to 2018, because 2018 was a really weird year for me. Going into 2018, a lot of things changed, and more or less you could say I became an adult. I didn't have the luxuries that I did beforehand with things like healthcare and insurance and all of these things that kind of my family helped provide for me. Those started to go away as I became an adult. I was past the point where I had been in school for more than 4 years and I hadn't graduated yet, and a lot of it was due to how much I was focusing on video games and esports, which was amazing, great experience, but I had to make a really difficult decision in 2018 to step back from all of that. I had to refocus on school, finish my classes, finish my degree, or else I just spent 4 years and I don't know how much money without even getting a piece of paper. So my parents pushed me a little bit and I was like, yes, I just need to finish this degree. So I started taking a lot more classes, took that more serious, and at the same time I needed to get a full-time job to support myself because I no longer had healthcare, I wasn't supported by anything, and I just really needed to start being an adult. So I took a job selling cars. Which in hindsight was a brilliant decision. I am so glad I did that because it taught me about sales and customer experience and all of these things that I take with me and use literally every single day. Negotiations, sales, sales tactics, talking on the phone, a lot of these things that you don't really learn in school or at any other job. So car sales actually turned out to be perfect, but that's what I was doing for most of 2018. I was selling cars and I was taking online classes or sometimes weekend or night classes to finish my degree. So that is what's important to know going into 2019. So the 2018, December, like the middle of December, I finished school, I got my degree, and at the same time I got my degree, I was approached by a mentor of mine from college that said, hey, you need to look into college esports because there's a lot of schools around here that are hiring to start an esports program. And that's what led into my 2019. So January 2019, I was still selling cars, but I finally kind of knew where my path was, and I was tired of just letting life happen to me like I did in 2018, and I was ready to take a hold of my future once again. And started applying for different esports jobs, approached by a couple, and ultimately landed an interview at Ottawa University. It was like a 3-round interview where it ended up with me traveling down here to meet everyone and see what I thought. And I decided at that moment, this is about the middle of January, end of January, that this was the job that I wanted. Ottawa University, they really sold me on the arena that they were building, the freedom that they were going to give me as far as building this program and letting me do what I want with it. And I really liked their approach to that. So February comes around, and that was when I decided to tell my boss that I was leaving car sales to pursue this job in esports. And it was very mixed emotions for me. I was very, very close with my manager. I was #1 in sales for our department, so it was obviously tough on them, but also I was so close to my manager that it was really, really hard to tell him I was leaving. But also, since we were so close, he knew how passionate I was about esports, and he was very, very happy and supportive of my decision to take this job, which meant the world to me, and we still talk and we're still close. And so I really appreciate that friendship I got out of that and the entire experience I got selling cars. But this is now February, and going into February, I start my brand new job here at Ottawa University as the first esports head coach, and much more importantly, the guy that's building this entire program, because there's nothing yet. So this leads me into March. Into March, I basically start the foundation for the program. I come up with our tagline, which is, it's gonna be backwards, isn't it? Building an immersive esports experience. And I start recruiting, I start building out basically a smoke and mirrors version of what this program is going to be, because at the time we don't have an arena, we don't have equipment, we don't have anything like at all, but I have to convince students. So the only way I can convince students to come here for this year and be a part of this is to really just build a picture of what this is going to become, which is what I think I did really well. And going through March into April, I was just really focused on recruiting and trying to start building out my teams for next year, because without that, we don't have a program. So at the same time, I'm also working with some students on campus here that are really interested in esports, and they're kind of helping me learn the ways around here. So to thank them for all their help, coming into April, the League of Legends Spring Split was actually held in St. Louis, which is about like a 4-hour drive from here. So I decided to buy a bunch of tickets and take everyone that's been helping me here on campus out to there and have a little trip and just kind of get away and say thank you for helping me kickstart this program. So that was my May. May wrapping up, going into the summer, my recruiting is pretty much where it's going to be. You know, kids are already graduating. I already know the kids I want to come here, and I spend the summer working on the program. I travel to some events. I go to the NACE conference, a couple different ones. I travel to film some videos with some students. The construction, our arena begins and goes through that process, and we have to pick out all the equipment. I negotiated the first influencer contract in college esports, I believe, with Origin PC, and we really just I really just take the summer to build out the foundation for this program, so that when the kids move in August, we actually have a program and they can start seeing the vision that I told them about in the first place. So August comes around, students move in, we hit the ground running, we get them all in the arena, we break out the cameras, and we just start filming everything. That was part of my goal of this building an immersive esports experience is if you want to be in esports, everything's on camera, everything's online. These kids need to get used to it. So I just start shoving a camera in their face every opportunity I can. And it worked, it showed. Like they became very, very comfortable on the camera, or at least much more so than the first video we ever filmed. And then come September, we just start hitting tournaments. The first season for us was Overwatch. We put together an Overwatch team, competed through TESPA's Varsity Series. We held our first live events. We had 50-60 concurrent viewers on Twitch at one point. We had 50-60 kids live for some of our events. A bunch of really big milestones for college esports, because you have to keep in mind that for college esports, there is really no viewership. There is no spectators. There's even the largest programs in the country, they don't have spectator arenas. They don't really invite people out to come watch. So the fact that our small town, Ottawa, Kansas here, held an event with 50-60 live people watching Overwatch and another 50-60 concurrent viewers on Twitch was really, really cool. And that's really what started getting attention to our program. So we go through that. Here comes October. And in October, I'm really working on building the presence of our program. We have this amazing arena now. It's a 200-person spectator arena. You know, we're winning matches, we're playing in tournaments, we have teams, we've got the foundation. Now we need fans. Now we need people to watch our program, understand what we're doing here, and either have kids want to come to our program. And so the goal was to obviously get kids to want to come to our program, but it was also to kind of challenge the status quo of college esports, because it was very stale and bland. Up until this year, and I don't know if our program had something to do with it or not. I'd like to think it does. But this year was the first year you really saw some of the top programs actually trying to pump out content, put together cool videos, engage with people on like Twitter. It was the first time the college scene had really become active, and that was a really, really big push of mine to really challenge the status quo and show people, you know, what it's like to go to college for esports. You can get scholarships for this. And just really, really push that message. And that's what led me to downloading TikTok. I knew TikTok was a younger audience, a lot of high schoolers, middle schoolers on that app, and I needed to show them that you can go to college for esports and that this is something you can do. Because if I can convince them, then they're going to start watching college esports, they're going to start engaging with it, and hopefully they want to come to my program. So that brings me to October, where I downloaded TikTok and started posting TikToks. And I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was posting a lot of different types of videos. And it really wasn't until the beginning of November on where TikTok started to blow up. I posted a couple Call of Duty memes that went on to do really well. That got us like a couple thousand followers. And then I put out a video talking about my 2019 and how I was an esports coach. And that was the first one to really go viral and start getting us a lot of attention. And then I followed that up with a video on how to get a scholarship for esports, which is now at like over 3 million views. And that's what really kickstarted my TikTok account. So within the month of November, I went from, I think we were sitting at like 3,000 followers to ended November with like 130,000 followers, which is insane. And with that came, I mean, I can make a whole video on what came with the instant following on TikTok and how much that changed things, but it was amazing to see the impact and the ripple it had in the college space, because once again, we kind of made history. We were the first program to really get national attention from high schoolers to see esports, to see scholarships for it, and want to do it. The post that I made about getting scholarships for esports rippled through the entire country. There was tens, hundreds of people applying to programs all across the country because of this TikTok. And it was amazing to see, and I'm really glad I got to be a part of that. So here we are in December. And a lot, I mean, this year has just been crazy. Like right now, the program is already further along than I thought it would be. We've got amazing talent scouted for next year. We're doing a lot of great things. We've got attention, we've got people noticing, which is what I set out to do. It's a truly exciting time to be part of the program, but also for myself, starting to really make an impact in esports, because that's really what my goal was. My goal in esports was always to impact it in a positive way. When I retire from esports, whenever that may be, I probably never will, but when the day comes that I am no longer working in esports, I want to be able to look back and know that I changed it for the better. And this year was the first year where I really felt like I did. Going into 2020, I'm extremely excited, but I'm also extremely nervous because I don't know what the future holds. There's so many things that I like to get done. There's so many opportunities presented now that it's very, very hard for me to pinpoint exactly what this year is going to look like. So there you go, guys. That's my 2019 review. I know this video was kind of longer, but I really just wanted to get it all out there. It's such an incredible year, and I think this video is just going to be a really good one for me to look back on. I don't really expect a lot of people to actually finish this all the way through, but I like long form to be able to talk about my year and be able to look back on this and see the progress that I made. So if you did make it all the way through this, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I would love to hear in the comments below how your 2019 went and what are some of the biggest moments from it. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video.